If there is, she will know. If there isn't, thinking about it isn't going to make it so. The temptation to second guess is great, but she doesn't succumb. The cellist lifts his bow and begins to play. The sound drifts up to Arrow, sometimes nearly inaudible, sometimes so clear and loud it seems he's in the room. 3 floors above him, her decoy sits undisturbed. The apartment remains empty. Her trap, so far, has not succeeded, but neither has it failed. The 4th floor window draws her back to it. At first glance she almost misses what's changed. She's just about to move her attention to one of the other windows when she sees a hole in the plastic, perhaps 3 centimeters long, on the lower right-hand side. It's not big enough to aim and fire through, but it's large enough to see through. This would be his first step. She considers taking a chance. She could send a bullet through that hole. If he's looking through it, he will be killed, or at least severely injured. But if he isn't, he'll escape, and she'll be back to square one. Also, she reminds herself there's no way of knowing who's in the apartment. She can't go firing bullets into apartments without being sure of who's inside, though she knows she's right. She knows he's inside. There's movement in her peripheral vision. She looks down the street. 2 girls, not quite teenagers, have approached the cellist and are a few feet away from him. They stand, thin and serious, and they listen to him play. If he knows that they're there, he gives no indication. They're directly in the sniper's line of fire. Arrow snaps back to the 4th-floor window. The hole in the plastic hasn't grown, and there are no new holes. Can he shoot through an opening that small, she wonders? She doesn't think she could, not with any degree of accuracy, but what if he can? Then they will die, a voice says inside of her, all 3 of them, and you will fail. For the first time she has picked up a gun, so she could kill. Arrow feels panic. She's stuck. There's nothing she can do. There's no small moment to retreat into, no chain of events that will dictate an outcome. It's all loose and floating, and she can do only one thing. She can fire blind. But she's unwilling to do that, or so she thinks she is. She doesn't seem as though she's making a choice. She's just not doing it. If she made the decision to shoot, she's not sure she would carry it out. On the street, the girls are moving. They step out of the line of fire and lay a small bouquet of wildflowers in front of the cellist. She thinks she sees dandelions. As they turn and walk west towards her, they continue down the street until they have passed her and are no longer in danger. There's movement in the window, a change, a slight shift in the light, a shadow behind the plastic where before there was no shadow. Her finger covers the trigger. All she needs is for him to show himself for an instant, to make a move that will tell him who he is. It's a small thing, just another one of the small things that are not small things. The sum is almost tallied. One more moment is all it will take. The music stops. Arrow doesn't remember having heard the last few minutes and can't say whether the cellist has finished, or if something has happened. She keeps her focus on the 4th-floor window. Her universe consists of 1 square meter of plastic. And nothing happens. Nothing moves, nothing changes. 10 minutes go by. When she looks down into the street, the cellist is gone. She sinks into the floor, unsure of what has taken place. She was sure he was there, but now she isn't so sure. Why didn't he fire? He had the shot. He must have had the shot. It doesn't make sense. Why hang around for another day? A trip into enemy territory is dangerous and uncomfortable. Something to be kept as short as possible. If the shot was there, you take it and get out. But he didn't. She feels as though she's failed, though she knows she hasn't. Her job is to keep the cellist alive. Norman said so himself in those exact terms. Whether an enemy sniper is killed is not the issue. The cellist is alive. He will be here tomorrow, so she hasn't failed. Arrow wonders about the 2 girls who laid flowers in front of the cellist. Flowers are a symbol. Do they hate the men on the hills as much as she does? Do they hate them for being murderous bastards, killers without remorse? She hopes not. That's too easy. If they hate the men on the hills, then they are forced to hate her too. She kills just the same as they do. On days like today, when she doesn't kill, she feels a loss that reveals a hostility within her that goes deeper than the lack of remorse. It's almost a lust. She hopes that the girls and the rest of the city hate the men on the hills for the same reason she does, because they made her hate. They started a war, saying that the people of Sarajevo hated one another, and the people fought back, saying they didn't, that they were a city without hatred. But then the men on the hill started to kill and mutilate and destroy, and little by little they got what they wanted, a victory as clear as it would be if they could drive their tanks through town. They made her, and people like her, hate them. So this is a really interesting thing, because this is what happened in the city, right? The people are fighting and saying, no, we want to live together despite differences. And these people are holding them there against their will. And eventually, this causes people to hate. Hours later, when it's almost dark and Arrow considers it safe to leave the apartment, she walks past the bouquet the two girls left and sees that it's part of a larger offering of flowers that have been placed at the feet of the cellist in the place where the shell fell. Some are wilting. She now understands what the girls were doing. What she does not understand is how is it possible that she hasn't noticed the pyre of dry flowers until now. Arrow turns away and walks towards her apartment, knowing she'll be back tomorrow. So this is what people put on someone's deathbed or at a grave or before a grave. Okay, so that's kind of what they're doing because so many people died there.